What made me first come to my art? I grew up in a small town, but we had a great liberal arts college, and they always did these wonderful musicals. And we would go every year, we'd watch the musicals. And I was a rambunctious kid. I got suspended in kindergarten because I played around way too much and stuff. But I found that acting just seemed to be like a natural place to put my energy into. So I actually started at a young age performing on a college stage. I got roles as a child, and then came through with my first big role. Something happened where they needed an actor, and the show went up in a week. And my parents allowed me to stop what I was doing, go to the college, and I learned the role of the young fool in the musical Big River. And I got to perform singing, dancing. It was my first solo, and I was performing with professional actors and college students, and I held my own. And I was like, I can actually do this. Except for my high school did not have a drama program at the time. So we created one. Myself, my twin brother, who also is a professional actor and scenic designer. Now he's professor of theater. We built a program. We had an English teacher, Mr. McCauley, and we started doing shows. Since we started it in the early 90s, it's still going. You know, I think they went to state champions this year. So, you know, I'm really happy that we were able to build something like that there.
I was always involved in church choirs and playing for church and stuff, and so that's where I started out doing music more was through church, and then went to college and got my degree in music education and decided to teach instead of doing church full time.
I never intended to be a teacher. The last thing I was thinking about was going into education as a profession. I'm a lighting designer and a production manager, and that's what I came to do when I first settled into Atlanta. And it just turned out that the artistic director, Marcus Alford of Jazz Dance Theater South, and I was the production manager of Jazz Dance Theater South. Marcus was overdoing a guest lecture master class for the choreographer, and got to talking to Dekalb, and was like, you know, any lighting designers? And he was like, yeah, my production manager is an awesome lighting designer. I was, really, what's his name? And it was like, Mongo. And he was like, Mongo, really? His name's Mongo? You got his number? And I got this call from Dekalb saying, I hear you're a professional lighting designer. And I was like, yeah. Well, can you come over and talk to us? I want professional lighting for our musicals. And that became a regular April client for me. From the first time that I went into the theater and was surrounded by a bunch of students who really didn't have any technical background, and I was told, okay, you have to teach them how to do this. Okay. So I found myself in a teaching situation, and it was all right, you know, but after the first musical and 10 weeks of work, I was starting to see that kids were having successes where they hadn't before. And I started going, well, maybe, you know, this coming in every spring's a good thing for the program, and it turned out to be good. There were kids that I was working with there that went on, they're in the professional now. They're in the profession at all kinds of levels now, even before I started full-time. When Dekalb and Jim Word were planning to leave the program, Jim Word called me up and said, if you want the job, it's yours. I'll write you a letter of recommendation. And so in 1998, after 10 years of doing spring musicals and having this program as my client, I became a teacher.
Well, my father was a musician. And so growing up, I heard him playing guitar. He was in bands around town, and I would be in the bed, supposed to be asleep, but I'd hear my father practicing. And so at the age of 7, I started playing guitar just like Dad. And that started the ball rolling.
I love writing. It's kind of an easy thing. I've been writing my whole life. So teaching writing, working with writers is a natural transition for me.
Well, growing up, I tried a lot of different fields. I was a candy striper. I didn't like the medical field. I tried other fields like that, and I was always just piddling around the house doing arts and crafts. And my parents encouraged me to go into the arts, into the visual art to be specific.
Well, I started with the program when it was called the Dekalb Center for Performing Arts in August of 1997. And what brought me here was working with Dekalb, the founder of the program and artistic director, where I had done several projects with him. And he created the position for me as a media person. He felt that that was important for the performing arts program to have a media person on board. And so he created the position.
Creative writing department brought me to DSA. So it's a very good school. It's a great place to, if I had to come back to public school, to come back to. I've actually known about it for a while. Miss Williams and I have known each other for almost 20 years. And when she came over here, she bragged about the school all the time. And she was like, oh, if you get a chance, you should definitely come. I think she just wanted to work with me again, but it's a good place.
I've been a college professor, so I taught educational psychology. I've taught computer programming, C++. I've taught orchestra 2nd grade through college. Teach music theory. I guess that's all.
I taught a guitar class when I first started because my background's in guitar. And I've tried to work in some teaching of photography, but broadcast media has been sort of my mainstay since I've been here.
Well, right now I'm teaching drawing. I've taught painting. I've taught ceramics. Right now I'm teaching visual art and sculpture. Sculpture is my favorite as I am a clay artist.
When I first started here in Atlanta, I taught creative movement, or what we call basic skills, to 3-year-olds. And I've taught at a number of different studios more what I would call modern-based kind of. It was never jazz class because I'm not that great at that, so I would give it more of a modern feel to it when I was teaching. This school, it's been ballet, modern, and also dance PE for 8th and 9th graders early on back in the day when everybody had to take dance. And of course choreography for every musical, and all of the highlight and pro arte and DRC shows.
So I am the ballet mistress here at Dekalb School of the Arts, but I also teach modern. I teach dance appreciation for the non-majors, and I teach a lot of theory, ballet history, anatomy, kinesiology, dance vocabulary, and choreography.
The main thing that makes DSA special is that the students work across grade levels, across areas of expertise, and older students mentor younger students, or more advanced students mentor less advanced students, just the way that teachers mentor other students. So it really is a progression of everybody learning just at different levels.
My favorite thing about DSA is our sense of family. We really are a core group of people that are united by mutual passions and mutual interests. We're all highly motivated people, and that just brings us together in a very close-knit family.
Well, it's twofold. Obviously, the kids, the students here are just amazing. They work hard. They take on extra projects. They're go-getters. They want to be here. They want to, for the most part, everybody wants to perform. Everybody wants to not just do a show, but learn the craft of the show and learn through the process. But also the amazing faculty. Like, you have people, if people really understood the depth of knowledge that went into the arts staff here and what their professional resumes looked like, they'd be blown away. Not to mention the academic staff, half of them have PhDs or doctorates of education. I mean, they're master instructors here. You just can't get that at a normal school, you know, and that's what makes it special.
Oh, well, it's everybody. I mean, the students, the teachers, the administrators, everybody is in that art mode. Everybody comes here for a reason because they love the arts. And even the academic teachers who are very good and really don't lose the focus of their academics, they also are very appreciative of the arts and know how much the arts contribute to their own subject matter. So yeah, that's the best thing about this school. Everybody, even though we still have problems, we're not perfect. Everybody is so into that mode, into that creative spirit.
Well, definitely the people. I mean, it's the uniqueness of everyone and everyone being accepted, and just being able to do our arts the way we can do our arts, and that you can try a little bit of everything too. You don't have to be as a vocal major. You don't have to be just a vocalist. You can also dabble in drama, dabble in tech theater, in media arts, and communicate visual arts, whatever else. You have a chance to dabble in all the arts and find your niche in different things.
It's a community of artists. I mean, rarely can you go to a school where there's a common thread that goes between the school. Everybody has something in common, no matter what the art or the discipline is. We're all artists here. And so just having a community of artists makes this place very special.
Everybody gets to experience their art here, and it's not, and it allows kids to discover for themselves what they're capable of doing. Sometimes we get a rap about, oh, you only take the good kids. Well, yeah, everybody's good. They just need the motivation that they have to be able to succeed. This is a micro world of how we want the world to be, I think, because it's diverse, it's art-filled, it's intelligent, and it's thoughtful, and it's compassionate, and so that's what makes it special, I think.
It was really great. I mean, it was as good as it is now. We've expanded. We've started to do more things. We've added a few more productions. Thespians was not going on at that time. As a matter of fact, I was kind of hired with the idea of getting Thespians started again, getting the chapter going again and building it up, and I think I've done a good job with that. But yeah, I think it was good then, and that's why I wanted to come work here, because it was really good school. When I first came, there were not even 300 students here. And so we're now over 400, hopefully going to be 450. So a lot more students, which of course then opens up to a lot more stuff going on. So that's great.
Several of the changes that I've seen are, number one, the amount of students. When we started and we were part of Avondale High School, Dekalb Center for Performing Arts had about 200 students that were concentrating in the area of performance. What I've also seen changes in are the courses that we offer. We added music, as opposed to originally music was part of the Avondale Band or the Avondale Orchestra. We created a position for a music director, and now we have our own orchestra and band, as well as visual arts and creative writing and those other topics.
I would really like to see DSA take a more community-based approach to arts and arts education, so that we're not only serving the students within the school building, but we really are reaching out and involved in every single school within DeKalb County.
Much smaller. It was 6 teachers and 85 magnet students. That's what I walked into with the first musical that I did. The students were taking all the core curriculum with the Avondale students, and then would take a last period arts class down below in the basement. To watch over the 20 years to go from that original little held at 85 to go up to 431 faculty and staff, and become our own identity separate from the schools that were housing us, to become truly Dekalb School of the Arts as its own standalone. That's been great over the years. I'd like to say recognition. I would like to say, a whole lot of things, but it really goes back to the same wish every year, is to be able to put the most competent people that we can help foster out into the world. That if we were doing 30 to 50% matriculation into a performing arts college, a conservatory, then we've helped prepare you for your college career. If you end up turning around and saying, no, I want to go dance for a couple of years and then look at it, to have the opportunity to be able to pursue your profession right out of the doors. And I don't think that should ever change. And that should be the wish every year, is get as many people as close to their dreams as possible, get a good solid start on as many students as possible.
I know that the program has grown, the choral program has grown to where we've got a big concert choir now, and I really like the fact that we're having all of our majors and minors in the classes from 8th grade on. That has helped out, and I've seen that is a big change for me in my program. Highlight Parte have progressed and gotten better and better each year, and just have a wonderful time with them.
Well, this program has been around since 1987, so it's been this is what, 30th year. So I hope that the school gets what it deserves, really. A school by itself that's not having to be one that's been renovated, to show that we belong here. The kids are very smart and they work really hard, and no matter what their challenges are, they always come through because they know that they can do their art later. So I think that's the most important thing. I want this school to get what it deserves as far as facilities and recognition. And part of that is our doing. We have to do the recognition part on our part as the school.
Well, I guess I would love to see some infrastructure improvements, which, of course, we're getting the new facility coming. Hopefully, we'll get a fly system. That's my real wish list if I had to have one. But as far as students, I would love to start seeing some more film projects for the students as well, where the actors are collaborating more so with film and video. I would love to see a DSA film festival at the end of the year. I would also love to see arts management classes where we would be able to teach how students could, how they actually can value their time and learn how to self-market themselves.
For creative writing, I would like the department to actually grow. We kind of have our hands in a lot of things. We're reaching out to the community a little bit more, so I would like to have more community involvement and having the students get the opportunity to work with professionals aside from me, and have more professionals come in and work with them. As far as the school, I think it's growing anyway, so I'm really happy with that. I would like to see a good balance between the arts and the academics and the community, because I don't think the community is as involved with such a great school as it should.
I think students at DSA have been more aware of the world around them artistically. More recently, when I got here 15 years ago, there were more insular, more in their own lives and in Atlanta in general instead of the world broader.
Confidence. I think that's probably the number one thing, confidence. Seeing someone who's maybe insecure and not sure of themselves kind of come out of their shells as that whole expressive component starts to come forth, I think it's confidence.
Students mature, become complete people with studies of the arts that I see many students who don't study the arts never achieve.
How have I seen my students grow and change? Well, I've seen people become more confident in terms of being able to work and understand technology or embrace technology a little bit more. I've had students throughout the years that have maybe switched over from vocal music or drama to become media producers. So they've used those skills of being strong on-camera people and then realized that, hey, there could be some careers in media for me. I could be an anchor, I could be someone that acts in short films. So that's another way that I've seen students change. And then I guess another area would be just having more knowledge of how media affects society. Again, another one of our, what I like to think of as a foundation of our class is always to look at how does media affect society and how does society affect media. And students becoming more aware of those areas makes them better citizens, especially being better digital citizens.
They are very important to me and my family. For example, I am a subscriber, which means I go season ticket holder to the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, to the Alliance Theater. I'm a member of the High Museum. I'm a member of the Oglethorpe Art Museum. I go to almost every art opening or art exhibit in the Atlanta area. I go to a lot of theater, both drama and musicals. I go to New York often, and I go to see plays and musicals there.
My mind is always going. I'm always critiquing or making stories out of events and people that I see, so that's probably the biggest thing. And I'm always reading. I love reading and reading to think, to try different techniques.
I've never given up my art. It's like I was a lighting designer and a production manager when I came into the program. It was a client, and then it's been almost going on 20 years worth of continual thing that drives me to this business. It's constant creation and destruction. It's constant problem solving. How can we do it? How can we do something that we did before but make it different, make it unique? The creativity part is just thrives. I love problems, and I'm at my most creative whenever I'm able to sit there and go, what do we want to make?
How my arts impact the world? Well, we're in a social media visual world nowadays. The world is filled with screens, and so the way my art impacts that is to make people better viewers, to make them creative producers, and to help them to analyze and understand the media that they're taking in. Those are all key concepts of media literacy. So having people tell their story from the creative part, but also understand the stories of others, be it news or documentary work or things like that. I feel that that is the best impact I could have on high school students.
Dance is a fabulous way of communicating without using words. There's some things that you just can't find the right words for. And then that's where dance really can come in and help communicate those things.
I think arts helps one to become more aware of, number one, themselves and aware of their surroundings. And then I think it also heightens the appreciation that one might have for anything. Just being sensitive to the arts and being able to be expressive, no matter what the medium is.
Well, just for an instance, this past week, I do the theater for young audiences, and we got to go to a school that's full of immigrant children and refugee children, and we got to present the Jungle Book, and for some, this is probably their first play they've ever seen, and just seeing how it lights up their eyes, I also worked on a project where with the United States Army, where they were using simple theater games to break into the communities in Afghanistan and Iraq. And I helped write a paper of how to facilitate community games and play with children, because if you could get the children to get on board and trust you, a lot of times that would bring their parents to the table as well. And that was used throughout the 2nd Infantry Division. Just simple theater games in a combat zone. So I mean, art can heal a lot of things.
Oh, music will stay with you always. Music can soothe the soul. I mean, it's something that you can always do. You can always have a tune. You can sing. You can listen to it. Music's all around you. So my art is everywhere, as well as I think just pretty much all arts are. That's the heart of everyone.
Every time somebody does something that's art-filled or, either music or dance, and that someone else is connecting to it or that you didn't think would connect to it, you're changing the world, you're saving the world. When you see people go to a dance or a music concert or a reading or a play or something, and there's a connection. I'll never forget, I went to a Philip Glass concert at that they were playing a Philip Glass piece at the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. And I was sitting next to this older gentleman, and this was years ago, so I was younger looking. But this older gentleman, and they were playing Philip Glass, which in this piece was, pretty progressive and pretty, Philip Glass has this repeating, repetitive style to his music. And this, after it was over, because I thought, oh, he's probably not going to like this or something. And it was just, for me, it was mind-bending and wonderful. And the man turned to me, and he goes, it was just like the creation, wasn't it? And I was like, yes, it was. It was just like the creation. And who knew that somebody that I didn't have any idea about or any thought about what he might think. And I thought, oh, he thinks it's too weird and too crazy. But he didn't. He connected with it, and that's what made me all of a sudden go, okay, this is bringing everybody together in some way, shape, or form. So that's the arts will save the world just by the sheer reason that they're all here and people are taking advantage of it.